Diamonds may be a girl's best friend, but that's because a wooden mallet just won't fit on a ring. Now this is some white oak firewood that I've had sitting in my shop for a while, and I've used it on a couple other projects and figured it would be a good one for the mallet. It has some twisted grain, which makes it great for a mallet. It holds together very well, and it's a bit more heavy and dense than you would normally expect. But yeah, I'm just starting by flattening out one side and basically getting a reference edge that I can measure everything else off of. Once I have this side down nice and flat, then I can actually use a square to start marking off the other sides, and I can make sure that everything is true to the first side on the mallet. And I get to use my favorite saw again. I love this thing. It's just fun, especially when cutting through large chunks of white oak like this, where the grain is twisted. Most other saws would have a lot of difficulty with this and take a while, but this just marches right through it. Just fun. Each of the sides of the mallet are cleaned up, and then I cut it to length. I have about a 4-degree angle on either side. Just make a line and say, yeah, that looks good, and that's where I cut my angle. I'm not looking for anything particular. Now this one had some fairly large cracks on the bottom of it, and so I really wanted to stabilize this block. I used some epoxy. It is very similar to the West System epoxy, and fills in very nicely. It cures overnight, and the slow cure time allows it to soak all the way in and really fill it out. Once it comes out of the epoxy, I can smooth off the sides, particularly the top and bottom of the mallet head, because I need to lay out things for the handle. Speaking of which, let's jump to making the handle. This is about 18 inches long, and it has an angle from one end to the other. I don't know what the angle is, but the top is about 1.5 inches, and the bottom is about 3/4 inch. So there's about a 3/4 inch difference between one end to the other. Once I cut out the angle, I actually would just want to, rather than measuring it out, I want to actually mark where the handle intersects with the mallet head, and then carry those measurements out all the way across the mallet head itself. And this allows me to make exact measurements and marks of what the handle will be where it comes out, because the bottom side will be smaller than the top side, so it will naturally wedge itself onto the handle. And I'll just use a brace and bit to bore out most of the material, and then come in with a chisel and slowly remove the material out. I really enjoy this part. Just removing a lot of waste with a chisel is I find it to be a lot of fun. And as long as the chisel is sharp and things are accurate, it goes pretty well. I'm just basically eyeballing a line from one side to the other and smoothing it out until I get the handle to fit. And I'll slide the handle in and test it and remove as needed, and then test it again and remove as needed until finally I get a nice tight fit all the way across. So now that the handle and head fit together, I'm going to round the top of the mallet and kind of give it its shape. Most of the shaping is done with a plane. The faces, I find it a little easier to do with the bevel up low angle plane. Just makes it easier anytime you're doing end grain, especially with this difficult end grain. It's a lot of fun. A block plane is very useful for chamfering all the edges, and on this I give the mallet faces a very heavy chamfer. The handle is very straightforward. Just use spoke shave to cut into it. Because this gripped chamfer is a bit too deep, I actually had to use a round body spoke shave to do the majority of the finishing work to get down inside. Then I also chamfer both ends of the handle just to give it a finished look all the way around. Once that's done, it's ready for boiled linseed oil. And I just do my normal boiled linseed oil and paste wax. I have a video out on how I actually do that, and on hand tools like this, it is phenomenal. Just get a great look and a great feel. It's a finish that will treat you well for a very long time. And I'm really loving the way this one came out. Just a beautiful, beautiful mallet. Happy time in the shop. A mallet really is, in many ways, the first tool a hand tool woodworker should make, either a mallet or winding sticks. It's just a simple project that just about anyone can do in a single day. And even this was made out of firewood, and it's actually out of a piece of firewood that I made my mallet out of a little over a year ago. And there is this, on one side it has crotch grain, and the other side it has ray figure from the live oak. And I decided to leave in the not the live edged area of the firewood. It just makes it feel a little bit more real and solid. I just love the way this mallet came out, and I hope that the new owner likes it. Speaking of which, this is actually a Secret Santa put on by Make Crazy Days. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. So he's setting up a whole Secret Santa for all of the makers on YouTube, and this mallet is actually going off to John Fisher, and I hope he really enjoys it. Merry Christmas to you, John, and yeah, I am very, very pleased with how this came out, and I think you will enjoy it as well. If you like this video, please hit like and think about subscribing. I do want to say an incredible thank you to the patrons on Patreon. You guys are one of the main reasons why this channel is still running today. If you want to find out more about that, you can click the link over here. Also, if you like this video, feel free to check out one of my others. You might find something you like there. And until next time, have a wonderful day.